Good morning. This is Jim Whitehead of All Power Group. By the way, I'm changing my name. All Power Group doesn't make a lot of sense since I only do animals. So it could be Power Animals. In fact, if you have any, how would you say, good ideas, please leave them in the comments. I really, want to change this, and I've been advised accordingly there's certain things I need to do to make the channel better, and I want to thank you for helping me. Okay, the good news is I'm kind of feeling like myself today. I had a good night's sleep, and I gotta be honest, it was about 2 weeks of this whole COVID and all the stuff with Paxlovid, sore throats, I can name it. Stuffy nose, it isn't fun. So just be careful. I know a lot of folks are saying, I'm done with masks, I'm done with this, I'm done with that. And I know, unfortunately, on the political side, they're all acting like it was terrible that we were asked to wear masks to protect ourselves and to protect the people around us. This was not a conspiracy. Unfortunately, COVID is COVID. It's a sickness. And I'm telling you, you don't feel well. And it's hard to get rid of it. So if you want to sit and go, oh, it's the best thing that ever happened, well, you're missing something. But anyway, let's get into it. I have to say something, sometimes politically light political discussions. But anyway, all right, today we're going to talk about Keiko, the orca whale. And Keiko was represented in Free Willy. And I'm going to go all through the history and everything that happened. Okay, there is another picture of Keiko. Okay, Keiko was born in the wild around 1976 near Iceland. He was captured in 1979 at approximately 2 years old and sold to a marine park industrico. I don't even know what that even is. Well, anyway, a marine park, let's put it that way. In captivity, after his capture, Keiko was moved to various marine parks, and first in Iceland, then in Ontario, Canada, and finally in Mexico City. Ooh, nothing personal, Mexico, but there's certain areas in the world that I would say maybe you shouldn't keep a whale in captivity. Anyway, then they moved on to another park in Iceland. And, it's kind of one of those things where, wow, then in Ontario, Canada, and as I said, in Mexico City. The adventurer. Keiko spent years at the Rhino Adventurer amusement park in Mexico City, where he lived in suboptimal conditions. I guess that's kind of where I had a little negative, you might say, when I first brought up that he went from here to there, and then he went to Mexico. And, anybody that is going to have an animal like this, or a mammal like this, or a fish like this, it's not where you say, well, just get a thing with water in it and we were great. No, there's a lot more than that. There's a lot of care. There's a lot of ensuring food is the way it should be. The temperatures are right. It's not for where I'm going to put a pool in my backyard and I'm going to have an orca whale to show everybody. I mean, it's way beyond that, and they should ensure that any animal like this that goes into captivity is treated better than if they weren't in captivity. Okay, his tank was too small, the water quality was poor, and he developed skin lesions due to these conditions. No excuse. No excuse. Absolutely. Okay, in 1993, we saw the movie Free Willy. Keiko's portrayal of Willy in Free Willy brought him international fame, thank goodness. The film's storyline about a young boy freeing a captive orca resonated with audiences who were moved by the idea of returning captive animals to their natural habitats. There was a public outcry. The movie's success led to public concern about Geico's living conditions. Fans of the film and animal rights activists campaigned for his release, bringing significant attention to his plight. And again, I've got to say, there's no excuse for this. It's not like Keiko just was up, on a Mexican beach, washed up, and they're like, oh, we want to help him, and so we're going to put him in a suboptimal situation. No, I mean, and easier said than done, but a lot of times if there is an animal that beaches themselves, it isn't where, if you've got the conditions, you've got the facilities, try to help that animal. If you don't try to help the animal, because you're not going to help the animal, and try actually to get the animal to go back into the water or go back out to sea. And I know that's easier said than done, but putting them in suboptimal conditions, dirty water, tank too small, probably the food wasn't great, whatever he'd order, he wouldn't get. I want a double hamburger. No, we're only going to give you a half a hamburger. But, okay, the release efforts. Rescue efforts in 1995, the Free Willy Keiko Foundation was established with the goal of rehabilitating and releasing Keiko. This effort was funded by donations from the public as well as support from organizations and celebrities. We love celebrities that help and show wonderful films we love to watch, and that they kick in some of their dollars to help animals and people. Okay, Oregon Coast Aquarium. Thank goodness. Keiko was moved to the Oregon Coast Aquarium in Newport, Oregon, in January of 1996. Here he went extensive rehabilitation to improve his health and prepare him for a possible return to the wild. Unbelievable. Iceland. In September 1998, Geico, this is a Geico commercial? No, it's not sponsored. Keiko was airlifted to a sea pen in Kletviks Bay, Iceland, to begin his reintroduction to the wild. This was the first time in nearly 2 decades that he had been in the ocean. Oh man, some of these you say, wow, I just didn't know that they went through such turmoil and what I consider very unfair care. Okay, life in Iceland and Norway. Keiko's rehabilitation in Iceland involved relearning how to hunt live fish and building up his strength and stamina. It's like with anything, you've got to prepare them to go back to what they are used to. And maybe they've got a little bit out of habit of what, has to happen. And the biggest benchmark is to ensure that they're able to hunt for food. I mean, if you put them in the ocean and they've forgotten things, that isn't good either. So trainers and caregivers monitored his progress, gradually reducing human contact. Sometimes that's the best idea. To encourage his independence, freedom, and tracking. In July 2002, Keiko left the sea pen and began to explore the open ocean. Boy, I can imagine it was like actually how I feel today from how I felt yesterday and the day before and the day before. You feel great. He was tracked via satellite and observed interacting with wild orcas. Dad, I'm home. Though he struggled to fully integrate with them. So in other words, he had some battles here and some things to learn. Okay, journey to Norway. Keiko swam nearly 1,000 miles to Norway, where he arrived in Helsefjord on September 2002. Despite attempts to reintegrate him with wild orcas, Keiko continued to seek human interaction and often stayed near boats and harbors. Oh boy, you know, I just have to say, I don't think he, and it's not his fault, is making the best decisions here. Okay, the final years. I mean, boy, maybe I shouldn't have done this today, but I guess what I do say, it happened, and I'm not embellishing it. And I'm the type of person, I like happy endings. And I try every day for happy endings or happy beginnings. And I admit at times it's been tough. But being positive and doing your best is only good for you, and it's good for everybody else. I mean, there's so much, and it's sad, there's so much no common sense related to how I'm gonna act today. I just kind of want good things to happen. I'm not a negative person, honest. If I say it over and over again, when somebody says, oh, the earth is coming to an end, I say, what the good news? I always look for good news. In fact, I've noticed it more lately that I'm saying, somebody might say, you know, we're going to get hit with an asteroid tomorrow. And I'd say, but the good news is, and I would come up with something that hopefully was good news. Okay. He was monitored and cared for by his handlers. He had a degree of freedom, but remained dependent on human care. Now, you know, I know going off, but if now we're Geico. I love the Geico, by the way. But if Keiko was in a situation where, unfortunately, he couldn't enjoy a lot of his life. That's not fair. We're using and exploiting an animal that just isn't fair. So anyway, the death, Keiko died on December 12th, 2003 from pneumonia at the age of 27. Tough 27 years. He was buried on the shores of the bay where he spent his final years. Now the legacy, Keiko's story raised global awareness about the welfare of captive marine animals and challenges of returning them to the wild. His journey highlighted both the possibilities and difficulties of orca rehabilitation and release. The inspiration, Keiko's life inspired ongoing discussion and efforts regarding the treatment of captive orcas and other marine mammals. I know I'm sounding so incredulous, but it's like why would they just not either not do this at all or do the best job? I mean, I've been in business for over 20 years. I never go into a job thinking, oh, you know, I don't have to work very hard, or I don't have to do this, I don't have to do that. You know, it's not, I don't get paid for everything I do. No, that's not the answer. The answer is do a good job and the rest will follow you or follow going in the right direction. Okay, his story continues to be a touchstone of animal rights and conservation advocates. The remarkable journey from capture to attempted reintroduction to the wild remains a testament to the complex relationship between humans and captive animals, and enduring hope for their freedom. Now, you know, I've interjected all along, and I don't know, again, if I would have done this, if I knew that, you know, Kaiko, I have a one-track mind. Kaiko should have never had anything involved with anything, because going through this whole thing, and again, I knew of you know, the movie Free Willy. I knew it was an orca, and a boy was trying to, you know, release the orca, save the orca. That's good, but a movie is a movie, and reality is reality. And if a movie is reality and it's not a happy movie, something is drastically wrong. And I want you to do something about it. Anyway, it's good and happy to be here. Oh my heavens. I know I continued working and you were here with me, and thank you. But I admit, boy, I was having trouble. But now, luckily, even at my age, I can get better. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. And watch for my changing a lot of things up. One non-sponsored discussion, real quick, vidIQ. I've been involved with them for about a year at least. And, you know, we as content creators try to do our best. We try to come up with good ideas, but it's only one person. And I don't get a lot of comments from people saying, hey, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. Because, you know, when someone says, this is what I'd like to see, half the battle is done. Because they want to see it, and you want to do it. Sounds to me like a positive. And as we said, we like good things. But anyway, your good things, and I hope you enjoyed this. And I want to thank you, and I'm going to move on, and I'll do a short based on this information. So if you can't spend this much time listening to me, it's going to be abbreviated because it's going to be within 59 seconds. And that's the weird thing about the shorts in YouTube. They're so short, what you can't do a real good job in 59 seconds or less. So you do what you have to do, but and I know YouTube is talking about this, where they say we're going to maybe increase the short time permission level. In other words, right now, 59 seconds or less. You go to a minute, you're now into what they consider a long form. If they were to change the shorts and say, okay, you can be anywhere from, no, I don't want to say zero, but, you know, I did one yesterday in 21 seconds or 27 seconds. And boy, I admit, I can get a story done, but it's not what I really want to do. I would rather do a better job than just fitting into an artificial time barrier. You know, you got to cut good stuff out because it's not going to fit within the time. So please, let's all ask YouTube to say, okay, you can have shorts up to, let's say, you know, 2 minutes. But it doesn't mean you have to do 2 minutes. But when I was using another program called InVideo, I'm using Pictory now. Every time I would say YouTube Short, because they had a choice within their menu. Do you want a script to this? Do you want this to this? Do you want a YouTube Short? They know or should know, it's 59 seconds or less. Plus, I don't like just to put it out. I'd like my beginning and ending, so you know who it is and why we've done it. So I know I'm going off on a little tangent here again, but you know, it would have it where if it was 2 minutes, it doesn't mean you have to do 2 minutes. You can do anywhere in between that. But if you've had one, and when I was talking about InVideo, everyone that I said, please do a YouTube Short, it would come up with a minute 4, minute 5. That's not a short. So now you've got to redo it in the sense that you say, okay, reduce this by 5 seconds. And sometimes it would go, okay, cool, and it would do it. Sometimes it would say, sorry, I can't do it. So you have to do it again and say, okay, instead of 54 seconds, let's do 52 seconds. So now you're making the time issue worse, but it's got to be within, again, before 59 seconds. Thank you for listening. I know you're saying, Jim, come on. Anyway, sometimes you have to just say how you feel. God bless. Stay well. And see you again.